Hello, and thanks for joining me again on the Sunday Night Poem with Joe, number 8 in the series. Now, I'd like to do a poem for you by Oscar Wilde, and it's called To LL. He wrote it for Lily Langtry, and she was like the goddess of stage and screen at the time. Oscar was madly in love with her, but they had split up somehow or other, and he was there lamenting and suffering with his broken heart, even though he himself was the ultimate heartbreaker. But what was this line? He said one time, he said, "You'll always love me. I represent to you all the sin you never had the courage to commit." And there was another line, he said, "A true friend stabs you in the front." And apparently such was Lily Langtry, because she used to tell him off about the fact that he wasn't applying himself. He was a brilliant poet, playwright, author, but he just wouldn't work. He'd hang around Paris in the afternoons drinking Chablis and smoking cigars with his exotic friends, and she was a businesswoman. But it comes out in this poem, and it hurt him. He didn't like it, being told off about such a thing, because he knew she was right. There's a couple of beautiful lines in here about unrequited love, and lamenting the past and wanting to go back and have another go to try and get it right. Could the passionate past that is fled call back its dead? And this other one, could we live it all over again? Were it worth the pain? And how many of us do that kind of thing? We say, I think there's still pieces of my heart that weren't broken enough the first time. We'll go back and have another crack at it. Anyway, we'll get on with the poem. Here we go. To LL by Oscar Wilde. Could we dig up this long buried treasure? Were it worth the pleasure? We never could learn love's song. We're parted too long. Could the passionate past that is fled call back its dead? Could we live it all over again? Were it worth the pain? I remember we used to meet by an ivied seat, and you warbled each pretty word with the air of a bird, and your voice had a quaver in it, just like a linnet, and shook as the blackbird's throat with its last big note. And your eyes, they were green and grey, like an April day, but lit into amethyst when I stooped and kissed. And your mouth, it had never smiled for a long, long while, and then rippled all over with laughter 5 minutes after. You were always afraid of a shower, just like a flower. I remember you started and ran when the rain began. I remember I never could catch you, 'cause no one could match you. You had wonderful, luminous, fleet little wings to your feet. I remember your hair. Did I tie it? 'Cause it always ran riot, like a tangled sunbeam of gold. These things are old. I remember so well the room, and the lilac bloom that beat at the dripping pane in the warm June rain, and the colour of your gown, it was amber brown, and 2 yellow satin bows from your shoulders rose, and the handkerchief of French lace which you held to your face had a small tear left to stain. Or was it the rain? On your hands as you waved adieu there were veins of blue. In your voice as you said goodbye was a petulant cry. You have only wasted your life. Ah, that was the knife. When I rushed through the garden gate, it was all too late. Could we live it all over again? Were it worth the pain? Could the passionate past that is fled call back its dead? Well, if my heart must break, dear love, for your sake, it'll break in music, I know. Poets' hearts break so. But strange that I was not told that the brain can hold in a tiny ivory cell God's heaven and hell. To LL by Oscar Wilde. Thanks for joining me again on the Sunday Night Poem with Joe. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, be kind to yourself and everybody else too, by the way. Cheers now.